Thank you for welcoming us onto your headphones. I'm Eddie. I'm by myself today. And this is the Rollback. And folks, today I'll be talking about VHS 1994. If you're not familiar with the VHS franchise, it's been going since, I want to say, 2012. And yes, you do have me all to yourselves today. Yes, Fernie is out dealing with some kind of frivolous lawsuit, and I believe Chema is eloping right now. So you've got me all to yourselves. Aren't you so lucky? Now, like I said, I want to talk about VHS 94 today. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar, it started out in 2012, is when the first VHS came out. It was a solid first horror film. It was found footage. Now, it's not the first anthology horror series, but because it's found footage, it has its own little niche within a niche. Not everyone's cup of tea, but to its credit, the graininess, the fact that it's, a VHS, which for you kids nowadays that don't know what a VHS is, think of it like a DVD. Oh god, you don't know what DVDs are. Okay, before they had files on computers, you had to get a movie from a DVD. A DVD was a disc that you burned the DVD on. A VHS is like a DVD. Just cast your minds back if you can, please. That said, though, the first VHS, again, solid. Second one, a little more hit and miss. Then there was VHS Viral. But this one, VHS 94, I strongly recommend it. It takes the franchise back to its roots in the best way possible. More disturbing horror rather than, just like grainy, oh no, scary footage. VHS 94, goes back to the best parts of the original. The original was solid. We might talk about that maybe in a future episode. But again, 94, there's a through line in this one, much like the other films. The through line is, what would you call it? Holy hell? It's basically like a SWAT team narrative. The film opens with people in a video room with their eyes gouged out. One woman just counts down from 10 to nothing. And she has a really auto-tuned voice, meant to be kind of creepy. And that's when the SWAT team busts in. Apparently they're there to raid for drugs or something like that. And through this through line is where we get to see all these videotapes playing out throughout the facility that they're raiding. Now the first of these is called Storm Drain. Storm Drain. Okay. So it follows this reporter named Holly and her cameraman Jeff, who are doing a story about an urban local legend called the Rat Man. And, it's a little more schlock that you would expect from, a local news anchor and whatnot. She's trying to build her career, but then she decides, you know what, let's go in deeper. Initially, the guy, her producer, suggests that they do some videotaping near the entrance of the tunnel. But then they slowly start to go in a little bit just to look around, and they find some clothes. And Holly's kind of like, no, what if there's people living down here? They need to know about this, and the richest country in the world, and people are living in sewers. And they go in deeper and deeper, and god damn it, once they go in too far, they can't come back. So they end up finding dwellers in the sewers. Ends up being this cult that worships Ratman, but when Ratman makes his appearance, he does not look like a rat, folks. He looks like this garish beast with a baby, a doll face at the very front of his nose, but it's a weird creature that's on all four legs, and it spits this viscous goo that will melt your fucking face. Let me be very clear. Even though the footage is very grainy, that works to their advantage because it looks fucking horrendous. It looks like an actual snuff film. And then after that, they decide, they kill Jeff with this viscous goo, and they decide maybe they're gonna kill Holly with this goo. She screams, but inevitably she survives. There's a commercial for the veggie masher, which good for the veggie masher. Poor timing, but nonetheless. And Holly ends up living. She somehow got rescued. Jeff is still missing. But she's doing a report when she starts to just say the words Ratma, Ratman, Ratma, whatever. Confusing her co-anchor. She begins to spit out this black liquid that, is reminiscent of the other guy, from before. And she just vomits this viscous goo on her co-anchor. He screams and dies. She's screaming. The whole newsroom goes nuts. And Holly, apparently she's been brainwashed, I guess, by the cult. Maybe it's the liquid. She yells, "Hail Ratman," and then it's kind of insinuated that she died from that, because that's how the other guy did, but fuck do I know. Back to the framing story, though. Officers are going deeper into the building. It appears to be, again, like a cult building, almost. There's mannequins everywhere. There's a giant screen. And then we get another video. This one called The Empty Wake. Now, The Empty Wake, I actually really like it. I thought it could be its own actual horror film. I'm sure you could milk an hour and a half for Netflix on this one. Essentially, it takes place at a funeral home. A young woman by the name of Haley. Her bosses stick her with hosting the wake for a man named Andrew Edwards. He's the guy from the previous one, I believe. Anyway, that said, Andrew's family, requested that, this whole thing be recorded and whatnot. She's stuck, she's the new employee. She gets the shit duty, which, as we all do. But slowly throughout the segment, shit gets creepier and creepier and creepier. It begins with she hears a knock come from the fucking coffin at one point, which makes her think, oh no, he's alive. She tries to work up the courage to open the thing, but to no avail. She does not have the courage, which, yeah, don't blame her. One man shows up, gets a really weird prayer, gets up abruptly, and leaves. And she's just there by herself with this dead body, with this really, really creepy, all around tone to it. And then it's revealed that that Andrew committed suicide. He died. Haley gets a call from her friend Sharon, revealing that Andrew died via suicide while leaping off a church. Power cuts out, the building goes down. I believe there's a storm going on, and the noise from the casket continues. It falls over, and sure enough, the son of a bitch Andrew is alive. Which, if that's not fucking terrifying, you only see his back and you assume, oh, he's alive. Turns around, nah, half his head's missing. Fuck that noise. But he's unable to find her because he doesn't have his eyes. That said, she's kind of crawling around trying to dodge him to the best of her abilities, when the top half of his fucking face, just his eye just looks at her, and then boom, he's able to find her. He runs at her. I'm assuming she gets killed, and kind of goes to black. Now back to the framing story. The officers find the sewage system. There's mannequins, upside down crosses. It appears that there's a massive cult there. They try to get out, but a voice says, "Forever starts right now," and another television begins to play another one. And this, I'll give it this: the subject, not my favorite segment from this one. It's probably my least favorite. That's just because of how sad it is, I think, to me. So the subject, it happens in Indonesia. There's two adults that have been kidnapped, a man and a woman, and they're being experimented on by this crazed scientist who turns them into human android weapons, something straight out of anime. Which, I mean, fuck, man, a horror anime movie might work. But that said, just sad. He lobotomizes and amputates and turns them into these huge mechanized monsters. It's revealed, though, that, and I guess to their credit, it goes from a POV shot of him talking about his experiments to a POV of the experiments themselves, particularly the woman, who he's turned into this gun-toting weapon. SWAT team comes in, shoots him, fair enough. But then the SWAT team turns their guns to the girl, and she has to run away, and then a huge chase ensues, and then the SWAT team is being mercilessly killed left and right by the dude from the beginning, who turns into this cyber android thing that has buzzsaws for hands and sword for hands. So it's just a snuff film all the way through, and then the SWAT leader justifiably wants to kill these two because they seem dangerous, not realizing that they possibly still retain some of their humanity. There is a sweet moment where there's a girl, or a woman, I'm sorry, calling for help, saying hello, like, am I dead? Like, is this heaven? Is this hell? What is this? And from the POV shot, she disconnects her wire and lets her die in peace. Like, puts an end to her suffering, which, yeah, that's enough to humanize her to me. That said, again, movie just goes off the fucking wall from that point forward. Action scene after action scene. The girl, the female android, the male android, it's just an all-out brawl, including the SWAT team, which there's one moment where the leader of the SWAT team is seemingly the most deranged and the most monstrous of anybody there. He's just beating the hell out of this female android with not just blood on him, but her blood, meaning the like mechanical like oil spilling all over him. And he's manic about to kill her when he gets shot from behind from the one, I don't want to say cowardice, but like the one who didn't want to hurt the androids. That said though, seemingly like it's over. We cut to security footage showing that the female android stands up and walks away, not knowing what the hell ever happened to her. I can't imagine how terrifying it would be to look into like a mirror and see like a camera where your face is supposed to be. That's besides the story. So back to the SWAT team. It's then shown that Nash and Petro have kidnapped Spivey. The rest of the team is seemingly either dead or searching for them. One of the officers says forever starts right now in front of a wall of TV screens, right? All of a sudden, it's shown another, quite frankly, I don't mind this last one, Terror. It's kind of the last segment, sort of. So Terror shows a militia group way out in bumblefuck nowhere. I want to say, God, it can't be Texas. Maybe Oklahoma? I'm not sure. Anyway, so these monsters, right? They're like white domestic terrorists wanting to blow up a building, wanting to just cause havoc, and they shoot a man in the face. And all I think is, oh, okay, that's them, like, shooting a reporter or whatnot. Nope, that is incorrect. He is not, I don't want to say he's a bad guy, but he turns out to be a fucking vampire. So what it is they shoot this guy, drain his blood, because it's combustible with the sun. So what they plan on doing is using the liquid to stage an explosion, a bombing at a major building. And then you just see these idiots, these self-righteous assholes who think that they've been sent by God to wage a righteous war on America and save the country, for the white man, and it's look, straight up, like, I didn't like these guys at all, so when they all get killed, I'm cool with it. I'm 110% cool with it when these guys get killed. I'm sorry, I am. That said though, it's these guys planning this domestic terrorist moment when the night before they're about to do it, two of these dipshits are drunk and they decide to go fuck with the vampire. Vampire, shockingly, escapes. Again, like, Karma's a bitch. And I don't hold it against this vampire to want to slaughter these white redneck, white supremacists. So, vampire goes off, starts slaughtering them. It comes down to about 3 of them versus the vampire. They go in with the whole mentality of, we will avenge our fellow cohorts. And they get picked off one by one. And you know what? I am fucking okay with it. Yeah, so the vampire just ends up, they fight, they brawl. The vampire ends up getting exposed to sunlight, blowing up the whole building. And that's the end of Terror, which I actually thought was the most possibly disturbing, because it seems accurate that there would be some dipshits that think that they're saving the country by committing a domestic terrorist. It's just, they're so unlikable. I can't help but not like these guys. That said, we go into the final part of the film, the final part of the through line with the SWAT soldiers, with the SWAT team. Majority of the SWAT team now dead. the only guy that's alive, Slater. It's revealed that Petro and Nash are actually, like, not cultists, but, like, they're members of a snuff fetish cult thing where they make these films and distribute them. They're gonna kill him, but again, you don't really feel bad about it because Slater's the guy that gave that militia all those guns and whatnot. Crooked cop, bad cop, white supremacist. Meh. And so they kill him. They beat him to death with a camera, and then Petro and Nash kind of like, so what do we call this one? And the movie ends. Very abrupt. Not a very long film, under 2 hours, well under the 2-hour mark. It's only about an hour and a half, give or take. Solid horror film, solid return to form for VHS, solid Halloween movie, honestly. I would recommend this to people. Obviously, only we have the stomach for it because it's not easy to watch if you have a light stomach. So I don't recommend, don't go into it expecting nothing. That said, though, it is, as of the time of this recording at least, Shudder's biggest movie premiere ever with record-setting viewership numbers for the platform. Shudder being a horror-based streaming service. Hopefully they continue to expand. Apparently there's another one coming out called VHS 99 that's going to deal with not COVID-19, I'm sorry, the Y2K craze that was happening at the early 2000s. Really looking forward to that one, if I'm being honest with you. But that said, this movie, it's solid horror. I would give it like a B. I guess like a what? Yeah, B. B minus. Would I ever watch it again? Probably. I imagine it'd be a lot more fun to watch it with friends, just so you can shit talk the thing and, what you would do or wouldn't do. But yeah, nonetheless, that was your review of VHS 1994. Feel free to like and subscribe. We'd greatly appreciate it. Go to our YouTube channel. We'd greatly appreciate it. Check back in with us. So listen to our other podcasts. They're great, especially when you got me. That said, I've been Eddie, and this was The Rollback. We'll see everybody.